Five, four, three, two, one. We're live.
Are we live? They don't know if we're live. Are we live? Is anybody there? What's up, guys? Welcome to the experience. What am I doing? These are baby steps, but of course, I'm going to make some purchases, make sure we're set up well, professionally. You know you like professional things. I don't know. I need to come up with some cool words to say to get us started. What's up, guys? Welcome to Kenrald Experience, an awakening journey from apeness to enlightenment. Our channel's mission, of course, is African enlightenment. Through restoration of subsistent, infinite, responsible mentality, and we target youth. So we do this through interviewing top thinkers and friends of, Africa from all over the world. If you happen to be one of those, please subscribe. Don't leave before subscribing. Support our cause and find out how you can be part of the vision. As usual, for the first episode, I wanted to address, to talk about Apeness. Apeness is our enemy. Apeness is the mentality that we're trying to fight in African youth. And you'll see a couple of short vlogs where I try to define Apeness. Apeness is coined from the term ape. What is apeness? Apeness is like a mental ailment, a disease of sorts, a condition, that keeps Africans hypnotized and delusional about reality. Surrounded by obvious evil, but unable to recognize. Like, just imagine all the bad things that are happening to Africa. The other week, two French doctors came out suggesting that the COVID vaccine should be tested in Africa. What do you think? Africans are lab rats? This world is crazy. And sometimes, karma is a bitch because you see how God is punishing those so-called countries that thought they were doing so well. This coronavirus is going to level so many people. So apeness. Apeness is like having a brainwashed head. Like, imagine a man being so brainwashed that, their behavior is similar to an ape. Apeness is black self-hatred. You see how many young girls in the US, after going to school for the first year, hate themselves, and they come back home telling their parents that they hate their skin. They think they're ugly. That's apeness. It's blinding. It's an unconsciousness that is crazy, man. What is apeness? Apeness is the assumption that the Western world cares about Africa. Many Africans are delusional. They think what? They think the US cares about them. Instead of taking responsibility, they're waiting on Europe, they're waiting on the US, they're waiting on the Western world Where's the African research in pharmaceuticals and all that? What happened to the African hubs? You know, Africans waiting on the rest of the world. So that's typical apeness. You know, what is apeness? Apeness is the assumption by Africans that you know the white man knows what's best for Africa. So instead of Africans taking care of African matters, they're running to the ICC and to the United Nations and to the Commonwealth, and, you know, delegating their responsibility to the white people, to the Western world, as if Africa can't take care of their own problems. That's apeness. That madness is what apeness is, you know. What is apeness? We're trying to define apeness. You know, there are any people who can contribute? What is apeness? Apeness is tolerance for oppression, exploitation, abuse, colonialism, and slavery by Africa. You know, how could we be colonized? Come on, guys. You know, how could we be? How could we be on those slave farms for 400 years in the U.S.? Isn't that crazy? That's epicness. The fact that we would, you know, accept to be in bondage for that long. Yeah, they can say we were whipped and they had guns and they would kill you, but I mean, what do you think the Americans would do before they become slaves in Iran? They would rather die. Anyway, even if we had been there for that long, now that we are not in slavery, what have we done to make sure we can never get back there? Nothing. Apeness. What is apeness? What is apeness? Apeness. Apeness is a nuclear weapon, you know, that was eternally used to destroy or decapitate Africa. Africa can never develop, and no one knows why. We're the richest continent that doesn't seem to develop as fast as anybody else. Why? That drug, that evil force, whatever it is that is holding us back, that's apeness. Apeness? What is apeness? What is apeness? The amnesia that holds Africa back from remembering their great history. Of course, Africa is a rich continent. Like, I don't think there's an older civilization, from the pyramids, all that is greatness that we've forgotten about. And today, Africans are the pity of the world. Like, why should you be playing that victimization game? Apeness is African victimization ideology. What keeps Africans complaining and never rectifying anything. Just complaining, oh, this is happening, this is happening. They hate black people. Black lives matter. And you're doing nothing about it. Apeness is what makes Africans reject subsistence and accept capitalism. You once had an economic system where, you took responsibility for your basic needs. You were responsible for your basic needs. Africans grew their food and, grew herbs for their medication. And the man had to build his house. And, Africans own animals. And now we have nothing. We're pretending to be capitalists. You can't be a capitalist if you have nothing, And capitalism is not structured to benefit Africa anyway. You know, Africa is what Apeness is what made Africans reject their true God and render all African deities as witchcraft and turn to worshiping the white man. We don't even worship God. We worship white people. Like we worship white people, and then the white people worship their white God, which is crazy. That's apeness for you. What is apeness? Apeness is what made Africans reject their medicine. And again, they also called that witchcraft. African herbs are witchcraft, are sorcery. And so we've turned to dependency on Western pharmaceutical products. That's apeness, you know. So now COVID is killing everybody. Africa has nothing to do with just waiting on white people. That's why, they want to test funny vaccines on you. That's how Africans have become, lab rats for the Western world. Every, bullshit vaccine they want to test, they just bring it to us. Accepting that alone is also apeness anyway. Apeness is what changed the African food diet from health to poison. Apeness is the hopeless African dependency on Western aid. Our Africans, our leaders in Africa like that Western aid, and some people actually believe that aid is meant to help out. It's crazy. The aid comes with terms that end up indebting us even more. Terms that make us give up our values and morals and accept the Western culture to replace our own culture. Apeness is that Stockholm dependence. Stockholm syndrome, the love for your oppressor or your kidnapper. That's apeness. That's Stockholm dependency on the white man. What is apeness? Apeness is the continuous tolerance for African exploitation. Why should we tolerate that? Hmm? Apeness is the enslaving formal education in African schools, teaching them to hate, and teaching them distrust for each other. Where do you think black on black murder comes from? It comes from school where, black people hate each other. You're told to hate everything black and, start hating each other. You can't even trust your fellow black men. You only trust the white man. Because, you're told that anything black is bad. That's really sad indeed. What is apeness? Apeness is the madness that pushes Africa to accept, trade terms with white man money. We don't print our own money. Our money is kind of an allowance. Our money is not even backed by African wealth, it's backed by our colonial masters' currency. But we still trade with that money happily and, hoping and expecting to win. That madness is what apeness is. Apeness is what stopped the formation of the United African nation. From the 60s, Africa has wanted to form a sort of United States of Africa. There was a lot of Pan-Africanism that's died today, but I hear it's trying to rejuvenate, but it died. But till today, not even two states have come together to to have anything substantial in that regard. So that's apeness, because we all know that if Africa united would be a bigger nation and would do better, but we failed. Apeness is the assumption that the world owes Africa in some way. You know, Africans, I think, I mean, some people think that the world owes them a living or something. You know? The world doesn't owe you anything, you know, and you need to find meaning in life and find a purpose and take responsibility and start growing your own nation, your own continent. You know, the world owes you nothing. And that's why they keep exploiting Africa, because, you know, what is apeness? What is apeness? Apeness is the insanity preventing Africa from creating their own money. You know, we need our own currency, whether it's rewards for good morals, rewards for acts of kindness, you know, some credits from that. A currency based on African values, things that we deem valuable, and we stand by the currency. And if anyone wants to do business with Africa, they better trade in our currency. We can't trade in the dollar and expect fair trade terms. We need to come up with our own currency. You know, Muammar Gaddafi wanted to start something like that. You know, he was killed. And you know why they killed him? They killed him because they know it's a game changer. But you know, are they going to kill all of us? We need to think about, you know, starting our own African currency, African money. I'll get myself some of that African money. Happiness is that which keeps a man dedicated to a job, you know, a job with a hand to mouth daily wage. Like today, we're in this COVID storm, and many people can't afford food because they've been used to hand to mouth wages, you know, and uh, and now that you can't, now that there's this social distancing and people can't go to work, you know, people are starving. That's crazy. But that craziness is apeness, because African culture would have advocated for subsistence, would have advocated for you getting a piece of land and having some, you know, growing your own food, having something to eat, having something to do. It's okay to have a job, you know, I'm not against a job per se, but you need to have something on the side, you know, something that you do at home. So, you know, your power is in that self-reliance, in that self, in that self-sustenance, you know. So that job dependence is Epness. It was trained to you, it was taught to you in school, and that's the insanity that we've bought. That insanity is apenness. What is apenness? Yeah, I already said it. Apenness is that greed. Um, you know, that greed. Yeah, for aid by African leaders. You're right. You're right. That's correct, sir. That's very correct. Um, Ignoring that obvious debt burden. That's very correct. Yeah. What is apenness? What is apenness? Apenness is the naive tolerance. We already said that naive tolerance for Western abuse and exploitation of Africa. We already said that, but yeah, that's correct. That's definitely apenness. Apenness is a state of unconscious insanity that allows Africa to worship a white man as a god. Yeah, we already said that too. We already said that too. That's apenness. Apeness is what makes Black Americans assume they're better off than Africans, and as a result, tolerates continuous oppression and unfair treatment in America. Very true. Many of Black Americans, well, they've been taught that the Africans that remained home are the ones that sold them into slavery. That's bullshit. You were kidnapped, but that insanity that makes a Black American think they're better off than an African is madness, and that's why you see so many Black Americans advocating for, failing to follow up on the Brexit and saying they are waiting for the U.S. government to give them money, buy them land like they did for the Israelites, for the Jews. That's keep waiting. I mean, there's a lot of land in Africa, and that money can do many great things in the motherland if you came back. You don't have to wait on any government, you know. But I don't know if you're doing a lot to educate yourself about these truths. Uh, that madness is apeness. What is apeness? Apeness is what stops Africans from being subsistent and self-reliant. That's absolutely correct. That's absolutely correct. It's also self-explanatory, but I think I've already talked about that. Um, what else? Come on, people, tell us. Apeness. Apeness is the finite perception of the world. Exactly. That's short-term thinking. That's apeness. Well, your enemies, the Western world, think 100,000 years ahead. Africans only think about today and tomorrow, and at most 1 year. That finite thinking is apeness. That's very correct. We need to be short term. I mean, we need to be infinite thinkers and doers, and also live that infinite lifestyle. That's correct. Apeness is the failure for Black Americans to buy land and invest in Africa. Yeah, we've already said that. Correct. Correct. Um, it's amazing how the channel has connected with Black Americans. I thought these issues were only African issues, but clearly we're getting more audience from the Americans as well, which is good. Which is good. Um, Apeness is the uncut, rotting umbilical cord uh, from colonial birth of the African states. Yes, after colonialism and that slavery, Africans were given that flag and anthem independence, but the umbilical cord wasn't cut and it's rotting. So we're still dependent on Mother Europe, instead of growing up into adults. So Africans are still babies, and even the leaders act like infants. That's why Africans are never invited to, contribute in any of these global decision-making bodies. And that's Apeness. Apeness is what has made Africa to be left out in global decision-making, and yet, Africa still remains loyal to these bodies. You know, hoping for aid. I know. Uh, Apeness is a deep sleep among East Africans and Black people. That's correct. That's correct. Yeah, apeness is the loss of purpose and responsibility and meaning to life among young Africans. That's correct too. Yeah, so those are, I think, guys, will cut it here. Those are, I don't know how many. Those are a few ways we can define apeness, but apeness is our enemy, and apeness is a state of mind that has made Africa accept this new insane world that we live in and treasure, and forget the sanity of our old civilization and our old history, and our true values and culture. And this is what we're trying to restore with the Kenrald Experience, and if you think you're a friend of such a cause, if you believe in this African awakening, then please subscribe and join us. Your contributions, as usual, are welcome. We'll be live streaming more. Of course, I'm a bit new to this, and like I said, I'm going to buy a bigger couch and a nice, better camera, a better microphone, so I can improve this sound. But bear with us. Uh, we're going to bootstrap. We're going to fake it until we make it. Or we'll make it. In conclusion, Apeness, like I said, is our enemy. It's the biggest tool used by the Western world against Africa. And at the Kenrald Experience, this is the battle of our life. This is the battle of my life. I'm dedicating my life to fight Apeness in Africa. And I'm choosing to fight this battle at all costs. So we're not about to quit. There's no turning back once we've started. And this is just going to, take off. And I know we shall restore that tabernacle. We shall reach Jerusalem. We shall reach the promised land. So open the doors was said. Freedom is coming. We're going to shine a light on Africa's future. And those are the young people, and step by step change the African life and trajectory infinitely with enlightenment, restoring responsible living, and thereby meaning and purpose for African lives. We know our true enemy, and we know our strengths. So stay woke. Again, I welcome all friends of Africa to subscribe to the experience and join the awakening. This has been shorter than I expected, but yeah, so we'll get into more of these topics and discuss more. Otherwise, thank you. See you next time. I'm hungry. I'm going to eat. Thank you, guys. Thank you.